Hello and welcome to Honest Trailer Commentaries, the show you tried to kill but just couldn't. Just kept coming back at you. Today we're talking about The Rock, not the Johnson, the movie The Rock, featuring a lot of Johnsons. We're going to talk about that trailer. We are going to deleted scenes. We have deleted scenes after that, and then we're going to tease next week's Honest Trailer and respond to comments from viewers like you. I'm joined usually, as always, by Joe Starr, Lon Harris, Danielle Radford.
Hey.
Okay, good. You're all
That's
with me.
All of us.
And just to remind everyone, this show is all in support, everything we do, of Direct Relief and Black Lives Matter. Links in the description of how you can support. Booyakasha. On with the rock talk. Talking rock, guys. I find this a fairly shallow movie to dive into, and yet I love it, and I think it's perfect. So what are all of your broad rock thoughts?
Perfect? You think it's perfect?
For what it is.
I enjoy it. I would not say perfect. I think we were able to pick apart some flaws.
It's not without its flaws. I just mean that like it aims to please. It aims to please like the reptilian brain inside of you, like your brainstem, and it tickles that for probably too long. Like I think your pleasure centers are completely shot by the end of Act 2.
It's like that thing where they put a rat and they were like, you can either press the pleasure button or you could press the food button, and it just keeps hitting that pleasure button. It's kind of like that.
Yes. Okay. And thank God we lost Joe, because I think he had a different opinion.
I am nothing but a sucker for that 90s Nicolas Cage. Like, you give me any of that stuff. You give me your Face-Offs. You give me your Con Airs. You give me The Rock. Those are some of my favorite movies and action movies, just because they don't take themselves seriously. They're very, very, very silly, and they know exactly what it is that I want when I watch an action movie, because honestly, like all the explosions and all that stuff to me, after a while, it just becomes white noise. I want Nick Cage making weird faces and saying dumb things. And it gave me the thing that I like.
You got to break it up with that. That's true. And yeah, that 3-movie run. Ooh, I don't think there's a better 3-movie run certainly in action history. Maybe Schwarzenegger did it somewhere, but I don't know. It's got to be the best.
Schwarzenegger and Will Smith are the only ones who I think could rival that.
McTiernan had what? Hunt for Red October, Predator and Die Hard, all back to back. That's okay. Pretty solid.
All right, those are good.
But those are only we can name them because there's like so few of them. That's why we can name them.
Well, yeah, and I mean on the other side, it's like Rollerball, and like it's not like he hasn't had a totally consistent career.
Right.
I think one thing that stands out to me about this is from the era where action movies stopped being like there's 3 action scenes. You know, like one at the beginning and then one near the end and then grand finale, to just wall to wall like this and Speed and Con Air, where it was this new era of we're just going to throw crazy stuff at you the whole time.
Now, what makes this better to y'all than a Transformers movie? And I think to me, because those are also wall to wall action, and very shallow characters yelling stereotypes at each other. But this one, I don't know what makes this so charming.
You malign Kelsey Grammer like that.
You mean Money Planes, Kelsey Grammer? Sorry, Danielle.
Yeah. No. I mean Darius Grouch the Third, aka the Rumble. Yeah.
I just think that it's personality. Like it's if you go back and look at those Transformers movies, everyone in Con Air or The Rock or any of these things, they make very clear character choices that are offbeat and weird. And so, it's entertaining to like watch, where Shia LaBeouf was kind of the every boy. And obviously there's that stereotype of him saying the word no too much. And the only one who was really making kind of a strong character choice like that, there was Bernie Mac in the first one, which was unfortunate. And then there was John Turturro, who was kind of doing some very specific character stuff. But other than that, it's just like wall to wall, very boring people saying very military things. And we're supposed to look to the robots for personality. And then that didn't quite hit either. Whereas this is, you've got, Sean Connery doing, again, everyone's just making very specific character choices. sequences, and that the wackiness and oddballness of that balances out the wall-to-wall, almost incomprehensible action sequences.
Yeah, it is the character consistency. Even though the characters are inconsistent, or in Nick Cage's case, he's consistently inconsistent. Whereas I feel like Transformers and some of his other movies, they just give jokes to anybody, or they give like the cool line to anyone just because somebody needs to show up and say something, or because there's a writer's strike and they're working off an outline. So it's just like
it all seems much more like clicked in terms of being in service of the story too. Like the wacky characters are there for when they need to be there. Like there's been something big or intense has happened. Now we need to take it down with Ranger Bob or whatever in the cell to say something funny about how he's still very upset. Whereas the Transformers movies just seem so like scattershot and all over the place and like just not nearly as focused as The Rock.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, too. I feel like he was better at pace earlier in his career. Like, the first Bad Boys and this, even Armageddon, like, there's Bayhem. It's like, there's like, it's just crazy chaos and the cameras everywhere and you lose your bearings. But it's not always that. He's doing a good job of just, like, establishing settings and scenes and taking his time to give the characters a little bit of, like, back and forth and time to get to know one another. And yeah, like by the Transformer times, it's just like, who is everybody? What's even going on? Like, it's so chaotic and relentless.
Yeah.
Like, that I think he just kind of like lost the plot at some point.
Well, there you go. So let's take a trip back to Good Bay, and together we shall watch the honest trailer for The Rock.
A good bay to die.
This summer, we're getting honest about summer blockbusters, past and present. This is Honest Trailers, Blockbuster Summer.
Woo! Remember Blockbuster? Remember summer movies?
Remember summer?
And the Criterion Collection's Michael Bay
Pictures owned by Disney.
comes the best title drop in a movie, Nick Cage Division.
Wild at heart.
Welcome to Con Air.
I'd like to take his face off.
Welcome to The Rock.
Hell yeah. The Rock.
Pause. First of all, does he ever say Mandy? I don't think he does.
It would just be great if he like sings that full Barry Manilow song.
Yeah. What's the best non-Nick Cage title drop, or is Welcome to the Rock the one? You can sound off in the comments if you have it.
Good one.
Some kind of Suicide Squad?
That's probably it.
That's it.
Oh man. This is your training day.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
What are we? Some kind of Suicide Squad is?
Yeah, you're not going to beat that.
You're not gonna-
Anyways, moving on. Let's keep going.
Alcatraz has been captured by terrorists, and San Francisco is in the crosshairs. Now, the only way to stop a dangerously unstable chemical weapon is with a chemically unstable, dangerous man.
I want to find some rockets.
Meet Stanley Goodspeed. He's a scared little dork / badass adrenaline junkie / Beatles freak whose big one-liner is an Elton John song.
You're the Rocket Man.
But don't worry, this irrational character makes perfect sense because he's being played by 90s Nick Cage.
What do you say we cut the chit-chat?
So yeah, pause. The Beatles thing was like, did that ever pay off?
I've never noticed that until I think that was a you joke, Spencer.
I don't know. He paid $600 in the beginning for
Yeah, they
Meet the
take
Beatles
such
on vinyl.
great pains because it's not only that he's just like a collector, like it's very specifically I'm a Beatle maniac. Yeah. And then not only does it not ever pay off, but then they pay off a different classic rock act. It's very frustrating.
When he could have been like, "You're Lucy in the sky."
You're a yellow submarine.
Or just he bought a copy of like Madman Across the Water on vinyl instead of Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Like there are iconic Elton John albums.
Totally.
But you know what? Is this also his inconsistent character being consistent? Like, because he's just out all over the place, man. You never know what to expect from Stanley Goodspeed.
That's true. He is super unpredictable. And yeah, I think we cut it. I don't know if we made the deleted scenes, but like, he's very clearly established as like a hard sciences STEM guy who like just loves, he burnt off his eyebrows with his chemistry set and stuff like that. Right. And he's going like like ancient Greek for ancient Greek with Sean Connery throughout the whole movie. Like he's always pulling these references of like, oh, it's King Lear or whatever. Like he's this guy is a genius. He's an absolute polyglot genius.
There's that whole scene where Connery is like, you're too educated to be an FBI agent, which is like, they're educated. Like they go to school.
Yeah.
You kind of have to pass a lot of.
If you know King Lear.
You kind of have to pass a lot of school to be an FBI agent. That's why.
Yeah, like,
it's kind of it's a big deal. You have to be smart.
That's like the giveaway to Connery, like an educated man.
I think that
you took
Michael
English
Bayer,
201.
Yeah, or I think he approaches characters in like smart guy, dumb guy. Like it's binary. Oh, he's a smart guy. He knows that. He knows smart guy stuff.
It's smart cop, bad cop.
Yep. Okay, let's keep going.
What do you say we cut the chit-chat? A-hole!
Although, that's only because they couldn't get Arnold Schwarzenegger? What? That makes even less sense.
How, in the name of Zeus's butthole?
How in the name of Zeus's butthole? Yeah, just doesn't work. To take the Rock, they need a man who knows it inside and out, from its Mega Man-style flame traps to the elaborate network of tunnels underneath, which seemed stupid at the time, until they turned out to be real 20 years after the movie came out. Help will come in the form of Mason, John Mason, a man who demands you shut up and listen while he's talking, because he adds a shh to every word.
Our Majesties, yes. Retired, of course.
Together, they'll take on the rogue General Frank Hummel, a retired war hero who's getting way too nice for this.
I need you to tell your teacher
So
that you need to get back.
I think this is what makes the movie great, is the villain. Like he is a brilliantly realized character and played like with way more seriousness than the movie deserves by Ed Harris.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great
acting.
Ed Harris is going to bring it 100%. If it's Geostorm, if it's The Rock, if it's a real movie, he does not care. He's showing up.
That's another thing that I think this movie does really well is all of the characters, even if it's like little groups of characters and not the individuals, but everyone has their little mini arcs and like moments in the sun. And I love that it's not just they're bad. You have this weird, like, I love the conflict between the villains of like this old guard that has honor and we're still soldiers, damn it, and we're fighting for what's right. And these other guys that are like, no, sir, we're mercenaries, and mercenaries get paid before they go back into that mirror, or whatever Candyman says.
People say our name several times. We come and kill them.
We come and kill them, sir.
That's how mercenary works.
Yeah, so I always like sort of like loved that, I think without Ed Harris being the anchor, you don't get those great scenes where like him and John Mason meet up. After Mason gets captured and they have their like tete-a-tete back and forth and they're like, we respect each other. And yeah, it's so stupid and fun. Yeah,
if you had like John Travolta's like Castor Troy as the bad guy in this movie, it'd be too much. It wouldn't be as good. And I don't say that lightly.
I'm always a sucker for the idea of like, we don't like each other and we're on opposite sides, but I respect you between the hero and a villain. I'm a sucker for that trope. I'll take that every time.
I also don't know.
Oh, go ahead, Lon.
I was gonna say, I don't know the actor who plays like Hummel's contact in the government, like the other general, but that guy does a really good job of like, just very quickly, like these two guys have known each other for decades and probably don't get along. Like, hey, Frank, well, I'm here with the president. Like it's the very subtle thing, but it really helps establish the character that like, oh, everybody knows Frank Hummel. He's, the general. He's been around in everybody's ear for years.
Yeah.
I think I made the note somewhere and just didn't end up using it or sending it, but it was like, this is the first movie I can remember that deserved the Revenge of the Sith crawl line of there's heroes on both sides. You do kind of, I don't know, like the military fetish thing with Bay really pays off by opening the movie with a military guy who's like, the military screwed us. So you root for the guy automatically because he's like a military boner in a Michael Bay movie, so you want it to win, but it's also the bad guy, and it's a clever subversion of the Michael Bay trope, which is perhaps why it's in the Criterion Collection.
Yeah, I would watch a Rock prequel, and then you could get in the whole, is Sean Connery James Bond thing? A young Hummel versus a young Bond.
I would have been totally into that when he was running guns into Guadalajara or whatever. Yeah.
All right, let's keep going.
I need you to tell your teacher that you need to get back on the boat and go right now.
You're being detained against your will. For that, I apologize.
No one has to die here.
I'm not ready to kill these people. I'm not about to kill 80,000 innocent people. Do you think I'm out of my mind?
Mission's over.
How did this kindly old man survive Vietnam? And everyone supported by a...
I can't hear anything.
Last time.
Yeah, I think it cut out.
Oh, all right.
Oh, no worries.
Well, we can do this right now. Hey, everyone. I thank you so much for being with us every day. Subscribe to our channel.
What a pro, Danielle. What a pro.
Hit that like and hit that bell for us. This Wednesday, we have our Hey Fandom with Janet Varney at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. This will be before SJU tomorrow, so just make sure you come a little bit earlier. Go ahead and get your wake up on, because that's going to be really fun. She's going to be talking to us in Legend of Korra and some other stuff. And you can come in again, it'll be streaming, but you can join us and hit that link so that you can come in and ask questions, because we want to hear from you. This isn't just about us asking her questions. It is for all of you to come in. If you don't want to be on camera, you can just do it by text. You don't have to necessarily be on camera, but also it's your opportunity to get on camera. So get some lighting and put some makeup on.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, it's like going to a Q&A at Comic-Con without waiting in line for 4 hours.
Yes.
It's great. It's great.
And you could see the person that you're asking questions to. You're not, way in the back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Let me know when that is ready to go again. Otherwise, we'll talk about Oh, sure. We can talk about the absolute platoon of awesome side characters in this movie.
That's another reason this movie works more than like a Transformers or something like that. This is a who's who, man.
Yeah. And they're all extremely sweaty.
Oh my God, it was so hot on Alcatraz this day.
And it's the kind of sweat where it's like, do you put the dirt on first and then spray them down, or do you spray them down and then put on the dirt? Because it's a very grimy kind of sweaty. It's not that very, speaking of The Rock, it's not that very wrestler kind of sweaty where it's like, oh, you just rub them in baby oil. This is like baby oil mixed with car grease. Everyone looks disgusting and like they haven't showered in like 8 days.
Yep. I mean, they did crawl in like through the sewer system to get into Alcatraz. They strike me as generally sweaty people.
They're not exerting themselves even that much. Like once they're in, they're just kind of waiting around.
It's very tense, though. It's tense.
It's tense, but they all look like they just finished like a CrossFit workout. Like it's beads all over their face.
I get the feeling that this is one of those movies where between takes, Michael Bay was like, let's do some push-ups. And
get those veins a pumping.
Yeah. I feel like that gang of character actors does that anyways. Like they're all shaving with knives and like
all of them doing it's I mean, it's like, I guess just to be that clenched so you can like issue your dialogue with that like level of intensity that, they're all like, thank you, sir. Like nobody's just saying a line. I guess you got to keep yourself all tensed up for that.
Right off frame, they've got like one of the other guys is just squeezing a guy's nipple so he can get those lines delivered. That's how, that's how bros do on a method. That's how you're a supporting actor. You guys
grab a nipple.
Sergeant.
You stir, and Candyman just got his nip, just shaking it. Yeah.
I didn't give that order.
Yeah, I learned that in theater school. So.
The Purple Nurple School of Acting. Gotta love it. All right, let's keep going.
And everyone supported by a boat's worth of badass character actors who get to look cool and say a couple of lines.
What do you have, a f***ing water pistol?
You know goddamn well I can't give that order.
I want my f***ing money!
Now these guys, these are my Avengers right here. Get ready for Michael Bay to turn the Bay Area into the Bay Area with his signature explosions.
That trolley was loaded with explosives.
And love of wheelchair athletes. Huh, never noticed that one before. Because this movie about a chemical nerd and an old spy saving the day doesn't even start until after a whole other action movie about them teaming up. In a film with so many well-directed action scenes, you'll dare to ask, is this what a good Michael Bay movie looks like? And to that we say...
So, pause. Just to talk about the what Lon was saying earlier about how this is the first film to liberally sprinkle action scenes throughout the whole thing. Sadly, looking into it, that's a result of audience testing, where he was showing an early cut of this film to a test audience, and they got bored in Act 1, and he decided to insert a chase scene just because they were getting bored. So let's do Hummer versus Lamborghini. See who wins.
But if he didn't escape, what's the point of that whole sequence? He just like wanted to go get a shower.
Yeah, I think it was just a more straightforward, like he snuck out and saw his daughter. Like there wasn't there wasn't a chase. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Right.
So yeah, don't always listen to what are they called? Not like
test screens.
Test
focus
screens.
groups. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also like there's a version of this movie where you only spend 15, 20 minutes on everything until they get to Alcatraz. Like you could do this very efficiently.
You could.
You could. I'm not saying it's better. I'm just saying like that was there were a whole set of choices that created this movie that we have.
I mean, this is absolutely the family circus approach to a first act. Just go
it's crazy.
All over the backyard.
Totally.
I love it.
Yeah.
Not me.
Like you could literally open with the package, like him Cage opening the thing and the little glass, whatever, the bomb, and he's got to defuse it, and then he walks out there and they hand him the assignment. You're off to San Francisco.
Yeah,
and then you cut away.
Cut the raid where they get the gas. You don't need to see that.
You
but
don't
it's
need
cool.
that. Just assume, and like that's the opening credits is them stealing the gas or whatever. And then like while Cage is traveling to San Francisco, you could cut to Womack freeing Connery. Like there's an efficient way to do it. They just didn't. They were just like, what if we showed every step of the process?
Then you wouldn't get that hilarious stylist.
You wouldn't get the style. You wouldn't get the Womack rivalry that sort of pays off kind of a little bit.
Yeah.
They tell Picasso no brush.
Yeah.
Well, you need Womack because Womack reinforces Ed Harris's claim that the government's corrupt. You need the proof to. Otherwise, Ed Harris is just like a rambling crazy person.
Yeah.
And it's like the payoff of at the end they go find Mason's old files, and it's like you want to root for them, and so you need to be rooting against Womack for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But maybe you can tell that it was maybe a later addition to the script because they've spent so much time establishing Nick Cage as a nerd who's never been in the field, and he turns into like Dom Toretto. just
hops into that Ferrari and he's
drives through
off.
Buildings.
That's what happens when you get in a Ferrari, man.
Yeah, it's automatic. As soon as
Ferrari brain.
Well, why not?
All right, let's keep going.
And to that we say, yes. Come to think of it, all of Bay's best stuff is rock-based.
Oh, they got my toe, Danny. They got my toe. Can they reattach it?
So do a little bit better than your best.
Losers always whine about their best. Winners go home and the prom queen.
For an on-screen cluster that was only matched by the one going on off-screen, with Sorkin and Tarantino being brought in for rewrites, co-producers ODing on cocaine during production, and Bay walking off his own movie till they agreed to spend millions on a 30-second underwater scene. Basically this moment, but cool.
I try to take people on an emotional ride, and excuse me, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Pause. Oh, so much to talk about. I mean, I do think that is pretty incredible, given that he'd only done Bad Boys before, I guess, like as far as a big movie. Like he made music videos and like Victoria's Secret
Aaron
commercials and stuff. Yeah. But I mean, wow, that's a pretty ballsy move to say, oh, you're not getting this tiny like kind of throwaway sequence for how the Navy SEALs got from the boat to inside the prison. I'm quitting the movie, and like they were threatening lawsuits. Like it got really hairy, but he stood his ground, and they put that 30-second scene in, and he got it.
I feel like there's so many. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just it's worth it. Pretty cool.
No, I can't imagine that you would be able to get away with that today. Like that's very much, I think, when we were respecting like the auteur's vision more. the auteur of Michael Bay, because now I feel like they would just replace you, right? Like even at that stage in production.
Yeah, they'd fire you.
I think if you're 2 movies in, I think Bay could throw even more temper tantrums now. Like, you're not actually going to let me train 10,000 gorillas to push over the Statue of Liberty? Like, gone. But
yeah, I feel like in like the 80s and 90s, there was like this cultural thing. Like, directors are kind of supposed to be arrogant, crazy, dictatorial. Like, that was just like the James Cameron model for it. And I think now it's become like producers have the power. And it's like everybody wants to be like the Kevin Feige, not the James Cameron anymore. So, yeah, it's just that power dynamic has really shifted. And now it's like, no, do your job or we'll just fire you and get somebody else.
In reading about it, I mean, maybe Megan Fox would have a different thing to say, but like actors were all gushing about Michael Bay, but saying that like he's great to work with as an actor, but he's like a terror to everybody else. So maybe that kind of has insulated him.
Also, none of them had to wear bikinis when they.
Yeah,
I think that changes the way that.
I think that was like Nick Cage and Sean Connery talking. So
watching that, I just had a weird feeling that the poor woman that plays Claire Florani's friend probably got the car wash audition. There's just something about just like, oh, that is a Michael Bay type that's just here. Like he was having dinner one night and was like, she's in my movie.
Yeah. Just something to chew on. I guess, he was also, it must have been strange for him directing Sean Connery, like Sean Connery is a serious actor. He's a movie legend and he was being asked to do some pretty silly stuff.
Yeah. I guess once you're post Dragonheart, I wonder if you're just like, yeah, sure.
Yeah, I have to say, he had a lot of 90s movies where he's doing pretty goofy shenanigans. Probably at that point.
I forgot about Dragonheart.
We do a scene where Claire Florani says, "You're not my father," and I give her a slap.
Stop suggesting that, Sean.
Does that feel like a thing that happened in the 90s where a lot of very respected actors were suddenly like, I'm just gonna go goofy. I've had my run. Like that's myself.
Because
it's when De Niro, Pacino, Nicholson, they all started doing those kinds of roles where it's like, remember when I used to be a tough guy? Now it's silly.
Yeah. God bless it. And now we have Dunkachino. So thank you for paving the way. Okay, let's keep going.
What's my name?
Dunkachino.
Bay walking off his own movie till they agreed to spend millions on a 30-second underwater
scene. A million
scene.
times.
Basically this moment, but cool.
I try to take.
This is one of your favorite things.
People on an emotional ride, and
just because
I was in the crowd for that. Did you know that?
Pause. What?
Pause.
I was physically present for this Michael Bay ridiculous weird screen thing. I used to work on a show and we were sponsored by Samsung, and every year we would go cover CES from the Samsung Lounge.
Wow.
That is a Samsung presentation. So we were like, they invited, like, you got to come to our keynote. Michael Bay's going to be there. So yeah, I was standing in the back of the room as this was happening with a bunch of Samsung people. Like, what's going on? Is he supposed to leave?
That's incredible.
Pretty great.
Awesome.
Yeah. I mean, what fascinates me about that clip is like Michael Bay, in certain ways is a smart man. He's got to be able to like know how to speak about visual fidelity and like the movies at a pretty high level. Like he couldn't just riff about like making movies and how good that television looks.
It's like he just doesn't care on some fundamental level, I think.
He never needs a script for his movies. Why does he need a script to talk about television? It just baffles me that he couldn't like string together, or just do a back and forth with the Samsung dweeb about like how great it looks to be on a curved television.
Also, I'm surprised that he just doesn't have those flash papers that like magicians have, where it's like if he can't think of what to say, he just sets it on fire.
Like throws a little smoke.
A miniature explosion, yeah.
And he just runs out.
Good times.
Mayhem.
All right, let's do the explosion transition to starring.
Excuse me, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Starring, we have no choice but to Stanley, 007, General Grievance, Navy Bean, who can take a nerve gas, turn your face to goo, hold a city ransom for $1 million or two, the Candyman can. What a cox. Jonathon Van Les, balls. And gentlemen.
Gentlemen, gentlemen.
Gentlemen, 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 gentlemen. Welcome to the Rock, gentlemen.
Dwayne Johnson. Hey fellas, if your girl asks you to communicate more in the bedroom, this is not what they mean.
That's interesting. It's very compelling. Just amaretto cream, peach sorbet persuasion. Not
I have so many questions.
Is the peach thing Nick Cage thing where he just wants to talk about peaches?
Oh, I didn't realize that. Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to try to say this in a way that's not too gross. Is he trying to prolong the experience? Is he trying to delay the inevitable, or is he trying to encourage? Is he trying to make himself more like The Rock? Is it trying?
I get it. He's
Is he trying to get it up or slow it down?
You're right. You're talking. Is this like him thinking about baseball? Is this?
Yeah.
Like
is this him? Is this him?
Yeah.
Like, Margaret Thatcher naked on a cold day, or is this like?
I think he's trying. Yeah, she's working real hard, and he's trying to meet her efforts. So he's going.
I just really read this as like, this is what Nicolas Cage thinks people do during lovemaking. Like this is just his interception of how Stanley Goodspeed would engage in the act. Yeah, he's a chatterbox.
So gross.
It's the least realistic movie sex maybe ever, I think.
Yeah.
Like this makes the Showgirls pool scene look like, National Geographic.
Pretty grounded by comparison.
What if during the Showgirls pool scene they had just been going naughty? Although, you know what? I'll say this: if you are that talkative during lovemaking, and after a encounter that woman stays, marry her.
Marry her.
Yeah,
immediately.
She's willing to put up with that.
Yeah, that's your soulmate right there. She stuck around.
Yeah, that's wifey material. You got to lock that down.
There you go. Good for them. All right, I think we got some deleted scenes ready. If y'all would like to peruse those, let's play them.
You'll dare to ask, is this what a good Michael Bay movie looks like? And to that we say, yes. But still,
I never saw you throw that gentleman off the balcony. All I care about is, are you happy with your haircut?
Starring Chemist Menace, The Shawshank Redemption,
Suck it, Womack.
The Butthurt Locker, Jen Ed Grimley, What Womack Wants, Come With Me If You Want the Dope, We Be New, Ranger Danger, Straight Eye of a Queer Guy, Con Air 2, Conland, My Chemical Bromance.
How does one weigh human life? 1 million civilians against 81 hostages.
Who is the president talking to? He's making the speech to one guy in the room with him. Psycho.
There you go.
Yeah, I never noticed that before. I always read that as like he's on TV or something. But no, he's just standing in his office.
Maybe that's just how he talks. He's like a very Bartlett-style president.
I did bring in Sorkin. That's a Sorkin speech.
That's a Sorkin thing. Yeah,
that's
opining.
Sorkin wrote that
Chief
one
of Staff's like, do you want me to write this down, sir?
This is good. Like, this is real good.
It's good stuff. Yeah.
I'm envisioning Sorkin showed up for one day, just wrote that speech, handed it off, and is like, I'm done. I'm good. See you guys. I'm out.
Yep.
Where's Dule? We need Dule over here so that he can write this down at the long show.
What do you think Tarantino wrote?
Oh, I don't know. Probably like the torture stuff.
He might have written
maybe like just the scenes where he's talking about music that he likes.
Yeah, the Beatles. Rocket Man. Yeah. Good question. All right, let's talk.
One track man off of their third album on the B-side, man.
Yeah, in his first draft, that was about like the Barkays or something, and Michael Bay's like, make it the Beatles. No one knows what you're talking about.
They drive the Ferrari past a club where the 5, 6, 7, 8s are playing.
Yeah. And anytime someone's foot is in the frame.
Yeah, it's like I don't think all of these people would visit Alcatraz barefoot.
You don't know that they wouldn't.
There's definitely a cut scene where Claire Florent is getting dressed to go meet her father, and she's just putting on a shoe just with her her heel just straight up in frame.
Yeah.
Everything else is out of focus. It's just foot.
All right, so let's go through some viewer comments. Langley Neely, what's up? Writes, Bay did better work in the 90s because he had to answer to people.
Yeah.
Is that true? I guess so. I mean, there was like certainly a power struggle going on, but he didn't have like the blank check he has today. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely something to that just even just knowing that you've got to get this past other people versus it's my vision all the way probably impacts some of his decision making.
He still got in that underwater scene though, so.
Devin Bean writes, everyone plays it serious but Sean Connery. I mean, to an extent, I think that there's some people hamming it up. Nick Cage, for one, but he kind of always takes things to that level. Sean Connery, I thought, was like, he's like playing it with a wink and a smile, but he's still got some gravitas there. He's not like completely goofy.
I mean, I think the different military guys are at varying states of intensity. Like some of them are playing it, underplaying it and keeping it subtle. But Tony Todd is like real big. Who's the other like really evil one who's with Tony Todd?
Yeah.
Like kind of like rednecky white dude. I forget that actor name.
He's in other redneck things where he's a redneck.
Yeah, like he always plays that like kind of angry, unpredictable, cagey redneck. But yeah, they're big. Whereas a lot of the other guys are sort of like Bokeem Woodbine's kind of playing it a lot subtler.
And Tony Todd, that's just like who he is all the time. Quick divergence, and I won't do this anymore. I was at a comedy festival called the Cape Fear Comedy Festival, and we went to a bar, a bunch of us after, and he was hosting karaoke in a bucket hat, and that is just what he sounds like and who he is all of the time.
Oh, that's a great story. Thank you.
And he was in the Samsung Lounge.
He was in the Samsung Lounge.
He was covered with bees, which I thought was strange. But
I think the other thing with Connery is sort of continuing that wink and a smile that it's Bond. Like Bond is always going to play things off like they don't matter, or he's always going to be kind of aloof and charming, like no matter how high the stakes get. So I think that's sort of also continuing that sort of.
Yeah. It works with this character of like being one step ahead of everyone else. So he's
the one line that's very Bondy when he's like, I'm Stanley Goodspeed, like, but of course you are. Like, that's super James Bond. Like, I feel like that line is definitely there to be like, this is James Bond.
And then Ed Harris asking how he got involved, and he's like, well, I was formerly a guest of this residence or whatever. Yeah, I'm just shorty.
All right, and finally, Jonathan Wright writes, I'm not sure if Con Air or The Rock would make a better Broadway musical. Discuss.
Con Air.
Con Air.
Con Air, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like cast. You could almost make it like the Roxy Hart. You could almost make it like that. Where everyone comes out and like does their own thing. You could even do He Had It Coming, where everyone comes out.
I mean, I figured you were gonna go Cats, Danielle, and like every supporting character in Con Air gets their own introduction. Cats.
Right, so like Cyrus the Virus has the song introducing. I forgot. I don't know any of the other guys' names.
Diamond Dog.
Right. Diamond Dog. There you go.
They have cat-like names.
The dog.
They do have cat-like names.
Yeah,
they do. They all have nicknames. Yeah,
the movie basically is Cats.
Mm-hmm. And then
Johnny
you get a whole
37.
Put the bunny back in the box. Reprieve.
Yeah,
which would be really nice.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, so good.
The diabetes song.
We settled that.
I think we've answered that question for sure. It's just the one location. Like it works so well because it's already so contained.
They're on a money plane.
You're just building one elaborate set.
Yeah, and then anytime you do a Cusack scene, it's just downstage in a spot, and that represents
exactly.
That represents land. It's a metaphor.
Yeah, Colmini and Cusack are over here in the corner.
Much like the MC in Cabaret. You guys, we cracked it.
Done. Oh man, we should do this.
Cusack narrates it. Oh, that's so good.
That's really good. Yeah.
I think we have to write it now.
I think we got to do it.
We actually write it.
Thank you, Jonathan Wright. Appreciate it. So yeah, that's our show for today. Come back tomorrow and check out the Hey Fandom with Janet Varney, 10 a.m. PST. That'll be right before SJU tomorrow. I imagine that the links are in the description below. So please check that out. It'll be a lot of fun. And then come back for this show next week where we'll be talking about our next trailer, which next week's going to be a jam, you guys. It's going to be an absolute jam. So I hope you like it. And I hope we see you then. Thanks for watching. Bye, y'all.